Hello people and welcome to the IWPC 316 here on YouTube. And unfortunately Brian is not able to join me on the Old School Rock recap, but I do have probably our biggest contributor on our Facebook page, Roy Zambrano, is it?
God damn it!
I knew I get the name wrong.
Yeah, but at least you didn't get the first name wrong.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to keep calling you Roy anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Roy,
known to Vince McMahon, that Puerto Rican.
yeah, well, that's Michael Hazley. We're not too sure on Vince McMahon. And some breaking news that I just learned today, it broke yesterday, but apparently Vincent Kennedy McMahon has joined Twitter.
I'm surprised he has a computer, I really am.
Yeah, I really believe that Vince McMahon is not running this page.
Anybody does, they're stupider than a Zack Ryder fan.
That's actually, before we get into Old School Raw, let's talk about Mr. Ryder coming out with some very interesting trunks saying push me. I think Zack Ryder forgets that the last time he got a push he abandoned all these fans, Roy.
Yep. See, the thing is with Ryder, like, he knows he's good where he is. He's a jobber. He's gonna put talent over. He's getting more screen time. Like, look at JTG. When's the last time you've seen him?
NXT.
Well, see, they don't show NXT in America anymore, so...
Yeah, the thing that always pissed me off about Zack Ryder is that I like what he did going back a year ago. I like that he tried to get himself over. I like that he was fighting the system. But what really pissed me off is when this guy started to get a push, he just completely forgot about the fans.
And they used him to get Cena over. Or tried to.
Yeah. Oh, that's all WWE saw Zack Ryder for. Here's a guy with a bit of momentum on the internet. A place that John Cena, would never accept it. Let's try to put one against the other. And as soon as Zack Ryder wasn't even given a WrestleMania spot until another bunch of stupid fans got behind him again.
Yeah. But see, I never got how this got through the board meeting. Like, I know like they have the soap opera writers there now, but I know there had to be some wrestling minds so I view it as we're using a mid-carder, not even an undercarder, to get our top babyface over. I don't know how that got through their heads.
Because there was a time early last year, and I know this is going to bewilder a lot of people, there was a time Zack Ryder was super over.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, if they wanted to get him over, why not just show clips of his YouTube show on Raw and everything? That would actually get him over even more, because if you think about it, how many people watched his show and everything, and then how many people watched Raw, there's a huge difference. And you would actually try to bridge the gap between those two if you would have just showed the actual show.
See, the WWE is strange this way. Like, I always go back to Triple H's wording to CM Punk. If you get over with the fans, that's all you have to do in this business. I never ever agree with that, because I could count, and I could be here for an hour, counting people that got over with the fans, but never got over with WWE management. And unless you get over with them, Roy, you are not going to get a good push.
Vader seems to come to mind.
Vader was one. Vader was a big one at the time, like, but Vader's biggest problem was he was the Shawn Michaels dickhead era.
Yep. And see, the thing is, Vader was a big name, and WCW was taking off. They could have just used him and tried to take some WCW fans.
Ron Simmons is another name that comes to mind. Ron Simmons came to WWF at the time with big following. Everyone was looking forward to see the first African American WCW champion in WWE. WWF.
Yeah, but Simmons' main problem was that little skin pigmentation he had.
And plus, they dressed him like a Power Ranger.
Oh god, the Gladiator.
That was a big mistake. But like, as I said, unless you get over by the WWE writing staff, they don't really want to know you.
Like, Triple H should know that better than anybody. Like, he got his biggest push by jumping off of what Hall, Nash, and Michaels were doing.
He should know too, because the Hunter Hearst Helmsley gimmick was the first gimmick he came in with WWF. It was supposed to be a snobby, funny gimmick, but fans actually got behind that gimmick.
And if I remember correctly, didn't when he first came in, he had a job to the Ultimate Warrior at Mania 12. He really wasn't over with management at that point.
But here's the thing that I always find interesting is that people on the internet love to say what kind of a dickhead Triple H is. But like you look at people like Ric Flair, when he came back, he really bonded with Triple H. And like it really had to be cemented that Bruno Sammartino's biggest reason for going into the Hall of Fame is that Triple H was the guy to broker the deal. Do you think Triple H is that much respected on the wrestling circuit?
Well, I think he is because superstar Billy Graham even admitted that he's a huge mark for Triple H. All the old names just love him, and like if you have like a couple of them on your side, you're good for life with all of them. Because that's why the Colognes really don't get any heat from a lot of them, even though the Brody situation.
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you, I cannot wait for when Triple H takes over the company. Once Stephanie just sticks to the business side of it. If Stephanie starts coming into the wrestling side of the business, then we're in 2007 SmackDown trouble.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, Triple H is good where he is, taking over like JR's old spot. Like Ace isn't there anymore. It's just that Stephanie isn't really the right person to be in that creative role.
She's good at what she's doing now. She's good as a businesswoman. She really is.
Yes, she's good from a business standpoint, but like when they're trying to actually write the scripts and everything, they're not actually that good. Like they're hiring people who are trying to use wrestling to springboard themselves to get a job with like Universal, Paramount, or NBC. But even though like once you get a job at wrestling, that's what you're going to be known for. They're not really going to be looking to hire you because wrestling in the mainstream is considered like sacrilege.
Oh yeah, it really is. That's why I'm always like most people look down on what The Rock did, and believe me, I have a lot to give out about The Rock later on this show. But I don't really blame The Rock for distancing himself from wrestling when he was trying to make it in Hollywood.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna really survive if he kept just going by The Rock. That's why you had like when he first started, when he made Walking Tall, that's why he was called Dwayne The Rock.
You know, he slowly made the thing. And like another thing that it's just how it's all snapped down to. Like if The Rock came back and then went to Hollywood, he came back and went to Hollywood, then everyone would have been giving out that The Rock was never giving up his position.
Yeah.
And later on in the show, we will rip into The Rock. But let's start at the start of Old School Raw, and The Undertaker came out.
Yeah, but wait. Brian said we need to cover TNA.
Yeah, we're going to do a preview for Impact at the end.
Okay.
On their scripted elements, people.
Oh yeah, The Undertaker when he came out. I mean, that was great and everything, but I just don't get why people are saying that Punk's gonna go over.
It's to bring the interest to the match. I really do not see Punk beating this streak. I really don't. But WWE are doing something now unprecedented for WWE. Like TNA have done it for a long time. They're using the internet to their advantage.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, once you give somebody the streak, they're gonna have to be your top guy from there to the moment like somebody else can. Punk can't be that guy. He's almost in his mid-30s.
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm a Punk fan, but I'm not a Punk mark. Honestly, Punk should not beat the streak.
I don't think anybody should have now. Like, unless there's somebody developmental or one of the people in the Shield.
Dean Ambrose.
See, with me, I'm going to say it's Roman Reigns.
If WWE were picking, it would be Roman Reigns. I agree with you, but
Reigns is over. He has the look that the WWE loves, that they love to market and everything. He's over with the casual fans. Strangely enough, he has a huge following of women behind him.
I'll be honest with you, when I see the Shield, I see three guys that can make a huge impact in this company if they're given the right situation. Like what I've read now is that the Big Show is coming into the Shield feud, and if the Big Show is the one to stop the Shield,
I don't get why he's a face again, to be honest. Like,
but you think just before he won the world title from Sheamus, he had a couple of matches with CM Punk where he was the face. Big Show has always been this guy that's been used to the right situation. Like if you need Big Show to be face, they're going to turn him face, and the same with the heel.
Another Luger?
Pretty much, yeah. He's always going to be used for the situation that's at hand. But something that really got on my nerves on this Raw was the way that when Undertaker came out, then Punk came out. Punk had a very good promo, I thought, and I was like, okay, here we go. And then Randy Orton's music hit, and I was like, what the fuck is happening now? And then Sheamus came out, and then the Big Show came out, and then a needless fatal four-way match. You know what I thought I was watching, Roy? I thought I was watching WWE 12. Because there's an exact same storyline like this in WWE 12.
Really? I didn't know about that.
There's a storyline that you have to go through. I think it's a tournament, but you still have to go through a match to face The Undertaker.
Okay. But did you catch what Big Show said? He didn't know how to punch people until recently.
Yeah, because when he came back to WrestleMania 24, he said, I know how to punch. It's like, don't you always know how to do that?
Apparently not.
And what I never get is that if he's so devastated with the punch, why does he keep going for choke slams? If you have someone caught by the choke, why not knock him out with a punch as well?
I don't get why he just doesn't do it at the start of the match.
Yeah, it makes... Like, with the GTS, you gotta lift them up. With the switch in music, you gotta get them into the right position. With a punch, you just need a second.
Especially when you have, like, a massive hand like the Big Show, you just punch them and that's it.
Like, I'm going back to 2009 nearly. I always thought that when they stopped the Hell's Gate, they were going to do something similar with Big Show's punch to make... But they still haven't. As you said, Rod, why doesn't he just walk out, music hit, bell hits, he knocks him out with a punch?
I'm pretty sure because they're not Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there, yeah. And we had a stare down between Ryback and fucking Mark Henry. Is this really what we got to look forward to at WrestleMania? Granted, it would not be a rematch.
Yeah, but see, the thing I don't understand, why is Ryback going to have a program with Mark Henry when he should be going after the Shield, the people who cost him the title how many times, and who beaten him in Chamber match, and the one at Raw, and the one at TLC? Their 3 wins have come against Ryback. And they could build up the fact that Ryback has never won a pay-per-view. He's never won a pay-per-view match. The guy they're trying to build up, the new guy, has never won a pay-per-view match.
Didn't he win one before? Didn't he win a Night of Champions? No, not Night. You're actually right.
Not Night of Champions.
I think he beat some jobber though, didn't he, or one of them?
No, he was supposed to face Jinder on SummerSlam, but then they just threw it away on a random SmackDown. So they built up a program and just gave it away on free TV.
Yeah. Well, that does sound like WWE. I agree with you. Like, the Shield, Ryback should be involved with this. Why is the Big Show getting involved? Because Big Show has it in his contract that he has to be on the WrestleMania card. You know, that's the kind of power Big Show demands, like, and that's probably why his contract is being held up. Because Big Show has it in writing that he has to be on a WrestleMania card.
Do you know what Sheamus is doing? Because he's feuding with Barrett, he's feuding with the Shield, he might be feuding with Ryback or Orton. What the hell are they doing with him?
I personally think it's going to be Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show against the Shield at WrestleMania. And Wayne Barrett, Amanda has had a phenomenal year, will be sitting in the back tweeting during the show.
Well, I don't know what happened to that Bo Dallas storyline. It was going good. It's the classic underdog one.
Bo Dallas wasn't supposed to get over.
Huh?
Bo Dallas wasn't supposed to get over.
Then why put him in the Rumble?
It was just supposed to be something for the NXT guys probably to aspire to. Something like Maven. What happened with Maven, The Undertaker came in, he eliminated him, but then Maven went back down the card pretty quick. They thought the same thing.
Yeah, but if you remember, Maven actually pinned The Undertaker.
Didn't Bo Dallas pin Wayne Barrett?
Yeah, but it was a throwaway Raw. If you have somebody with the title, it should have been leading up to it. Him actually winning the title. It shouldn't have just been him going undercard like when Dustin lasted 20 minutes against DiBiase.
Yeah, it should be, but as I said in the earlier part of the show, Roy, unless you get over the WWE way, you ain't getting over.
Yep.
He's back now in NXT where they want him to be in. I just cannot believe that Wayne Barron might not be on the WrestleMania card. I really can't, because this guy's actually brought a lot of life back to the IC belt, even though he's fighting Sheamus every second week.
Yeah, but see, I have a problem with like the way they actually brought up the way they brought him back. I have a problem with that. Like what they did with his character.
I like it. I like that they brought him in as a kind of a rough and tumble guy, but yet again, if you're going to do that with somebody, they can't be running away from fights, and he runs away at times.
See, that's one of my problems. Another one would be, first of all, you bring him back as a bare-knuckle brawler. You're trying to hype this up with vignettes and everything. First of all, he's coming in wrestling trunk and wrestling attires. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be coming in jeans. He shouldn't be winning matches by pinfall. He should be winning them by knockout or ref stoppage to actually legitimize him.
Yeah. Something like what Tensai did when he first came in.
Exactly, like, and whatever happened to the claw? He just stopped using it.
Cena pretty much made a mockery of that in London. And Cena no-sold the claw.
Curry Von Erich is just rolling in his grave.
Didn't Cena no-sell the Caddy claw before as well?
What hasn't Cena no-sold?
Before we get on to the Cena Rock thing that I cannot wait to get into, Triple H's interesting promo. And the reason I really want to bring up Triple H's promo is because this is what WWE have to realize. I don't want to go back to the days where there's blood in every second match. I really don't.
Yeah.
But use blood to your advantage. Like last week, Brock Lesnar got cut unintentionally. But look how you can build up the seriousness of this program with just the use of blood.
Yeah. See, it's the same problem TNA used to have when every show would have blood in it. Like, it's unnecessary. Blood shouldn't be used every single show. It should only be once in a while to help bring in life to a feud.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying about this. Look at the different level of heatedness that this is pretty much bringing because Brock Lesnar bleeded on Raw.
Yeah, like I remember when he was fighting with Cena and he made him Cena bleed from his mouth. Granted, Cena no-sold it by smiling and everything, but still.
Yeah, and it was the match as well. Like, if Cena didn't bleed in that match at Extreme Rules, it would have been just an average match. But, like as I said, I don't want blood every second match. I really don't. Like, the Attitude Era, as much as I miss it and I love them days, the blood went over the top. But if you have a serious feud you're trying to build up, or a big-time legitimate match like a Last Man Standing, or a Hell in a Cell, or Elimination Chamber, then once in a while let them bleed.
I agree.
Okay, let's move on to
Wait a minute. We still gotta cover somebody. Brian's favorite newcomer, that Fandango.
Fandango.
Not the ticket provider, everybody.
Well, I just got a message there on Twitter. We cannot talk about Fandango because we didn't pronounce his name right.
Okay.
No, honestly, my thoughts on Fandango. Let us see Fandango.
I just want Disco Inferno to come back so they can have a program.
I know most of you are probably wanting to know before we get to the point, but we haven't addressed a lot of things that happen on Old School Raw. Just a very good point for that. It was a shit Raw.
It was a shit Raw by Raw standards.
Yeah, I'm sorry, like, when you're this close to WrestleMania, you should not be having throwaway shows.
It doesn't feel like WrestleMania is coming up. It just feels like another pay-per-view, even with all the big names they brought back.
Yeah, because like, we're so used to
about the year of build-up between Cena and Rock 1. At least it felt like a big deal when it finally came around.
Yeah, but it's the same names. We've seen Brock Lesnar, Triple H. We've seen Rock Cena.
We've seen Taker Punk.
We've seen Taker Punk, but that was a good while ago. But we've seen the anti-Mexican angle with JBL and Eddie Guerrero before. We've seen all these things before. And what WWE Creative used to do, to their credit, as much as I'm going to badmouth them later on, to their credit, when they got to WrestleMania, they were always able to bring a new fresh onto everything. But this year, it's like JBL and Eddie Guerrero too. We have Rock Cena too. We have Brock Triple H too. The Undertaker and CM Punk, that's kind of original, because the only time we got to see it was back in 2009, wasn't it? In 2 pay-per-views, Hell in a Cell and Breaking Point.
Yep, back when they both had hair.
Yeah. So, as you said, it just doesn't feel like WrestleMania time. And they're not helping it by having throwaway shows. Like, what are we going to have next week? What, WrestleMania Recall?
Not to mention, the week before WrestleMania, that thing where they just face old WrestleMania opponents.
Yeah, that's why it's WrestleMania Recall. I think it's
Oh.
something like that anyway, but I can actually see that happening. But that is kind of like WrestleMania this year. I just have the feeling that this year's WrestleMania, they're like, okay, we have to do a WrestleMania in New York, let's just do this, and let's get the turkey. It's a throwaway WrestleMania in my books, and I know that's a very controversial stance to take on.
I don't know why they're having the throwaway WrestleMania in New York, out of all places. Like, I could understand if it was someplace like Dallas or New Orleans, but New York? The place where Vince made most of his money, I mean, like, WrestleMania 1, historic. 10, you can argue there's not a lot coming from it. But at the same time, you had Owen Brett, Razor Ramon, and Shawn Michaels at the ladder match, and then Brett winning the belt. Then 20, you had, well, we're not allowed to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship match, but you still had Eddie.
20 was a shit WrestleMania. It really was.
I just don't know what they're doing.
I really don't either. As you said, like, what? I don't. Maybe the plan was that WrestleMania 29 was supposed to take place in New Orleans and 30 was supposed to take place, and someone fucked up. Or
I think it was that the fact that the NFL was going to have their Super Bowl in New Orleans, and they knew people were going to spend more money on there than they would WrestleMania, and their ticket sales would be down. And then you have the same situation where the Super Bowl is going to be in MetLife. And then WWE is going to New Orleans. You kind of just like reversed right there.
Why, is the Super Bowl in MetLife next year?
Yup, or the Patriots will win it.
Hopefully not.
Don't say that. You have to believe for the good of the people.
Well, I'm actually a New York Giants fan. Pretty much because everybody hates them.
No. Nobody hates New York Giants. Trust me. Everybody hates the Jets, not the Giants.
Damn it, I have to switch to the Jets all the way.
Okay.
No, I just watch American football and Sam, but when people ask me who I support, I just say the Giants because it usually pisses people off.
Yeah. If you
Maybe
want to piss people off, say the Patriots.
I actually always remember that episode of Turkey Rock with Tracy Morgan in New England.
Sure.
Okay,
so,
now,
time for the moment everybody's been waiting for.
count the point.
You want to start this off?
Yeah, I did a show last night, but my microphone busted halfway through it. That's how upset I was about this. The pretty much gist of what I said last night is how it's the league. This was the most vile and disgusting promo I ever seen on professional wrestling television. For two guys to actually come out and cream each other and to down everyone in the back, it was absolutely vile and disgusting to see why.
I don't, like, it was a horrible promo. Like, how do you go out, just simply bury everybody? You have a whole bunch of people coming back who you just buried by saying that they're the only two that's great in the company?
That give a shit?
That is completely asinine. Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I just had to change my output there. It fascinated me. Like, every single time they were coming out with a different statement, a different thing. My jaw was hitting the floor. I was like, who okayed this?
I don't know. It was probably Kevin Dunn.
Like, who, honestly? Like, all I ever hear about WWE is that everything runs through the boss. I do not have the greatest respect of the world for Vince McMahon at this particular time. But there is no way Vince McMahon would have okayed that last night.
And I like how, did you catch what Cena said, that apparently his divorce is The Rock's fault?
Yeah! That, it was just unbelievable to watch. It was just like, are these guys really saying that they're the only two in the company that deserve to be at a WrestleMania main event?
And I don't get where Cena's trying to say he was on a downward spiral, because if I remember correctly, he still main evented the pay-per-views. He beat Brock Lesnar. I mean, granted, the only thing he didn't do was win the belt, but even though he made the belt shit by burying it down the card.
Yeah, it was still the primary focus of the company. The company still revolved around John Cena. He was still winning the big matches, with the exception of the Johnny Ace match, but he was still winning the big matches. He was still the focal point of the company.
Say what you want about WCW and how they forced Hogan down. At least Hogan had the belt.
But that's what was so good about when Hogan had the belt. Is that Hogan has the belt to keep the Hogan fans happy. But look, we're making these new guys as main event talents.
Exactly. Goldberg needed the rub off of Hogan. Like, look how they sold out the goddamn Georgia Dome. Something WrestleMania couldn't do.
And that is a fact, because I was at the Georgetown. That place was not sold out.
I just don't get, like, first of all, you have them just bury the entire card. Cena, he tries to say The Rock motivated him. So apparently he wasn't motivated to beat Lesnar. He wasn't motivated to win the championship before that.
Yeah. And what was the point? He was saying that he beat everyone but The Rock?
He didn't beat Taker.
He Austin. Austin's about as active as The Rock at the moment. Like, I'm a Rock fan, but I am not going to defend that shit last night from Dwayne. Dwayne's dad and his granddad, High GP to my fee and Rocky Johnson, were not the biggest names in any company they went to. And he should have known from family experience what it's like to see the big guys go and shit on the little guys. And Dwayne did that last night.
I just don't get it, because if you think about it, look how far Cena's come. He had entire management wanting him gone, but he couldn't be fired because he was the first person Stephanie signed.
Well, that's the only thing that's ever saved John Cena, is that he was the first creation of Stephanie McMahon.
That's what's saving Sin Cara right now. He was the first creation of Triple H.
Sin Cara's actually good when he doesn't get fucking injured.
Well, if you injure yourself by running, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe the thing is that they're rushing them back too fucking much.
Probably. Well, they have the Rio now as a face, so they don't need him anymore.
Yeah, it's incredible, especially when they have to sign that other Mexican guy a couple of weeks ago, something Guerrero, is it?
Who?
They signed some Mexican fella from AAA a couple of weeks ago.
They couldn't have signed a AAA guy. AAA has the working agreement with TNA.
I think it was AAA. It might not have been, but it was some big...
Sure it's not CMLL?
My history of Spanish wrestling was not the greatest, honestly. I just read it and there was a lot of traction about it. So I was just like, that's cool. Hopefully he won't get injured every second match.
Well, Hunico's been getting injured too.
You see, like, I always go back to the point. I remember I was watching the CM Punk DVD, and Daniel Bryan actually made a very good point, that there's a lot of guys in the back that are happy to be mid-carders, and are happy not to be making the giant push. Do you think that's a true fact, that there's a lot of guys in WWE that just sit on their morals?
Well, see, I'm gonna just take it back to what a story Diamond Dallas Page said before about how he said he just wanted to be in Jake's spot, like just be that upper mid-card guy, giving people the rub and just being in programs that weren't really in the belt. And that Dusty actually told him, if you want to be in that spot, why are you in the business? If you don't want the world title, you shouldn't be here.
It's a true thing, and go back to that same DVD. Punk made the statement that he had the belt on the top show on Raw back in 2008, and nobody cared. I'm going to make a very bold statement now, but I think this is true. WWE at this moment don't give two shits about the belts.
Well, they only give a shit if Cena or The Rock have it.
The only reason Rock is holding that belt is because he probably bring it to a few red carpets.
He won't.
That's what WWE were hoping, probably. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I would have much preferred the Rock just take a 6-month break from Hollywood, do a 6-month farewell tour, where he went to house shows, where he did this and did that, and that's how the Rock should have left.
But I would have actually hoped he would have trained more so he wouldn't get winded after 5 minutes.
That's one thing I would stand up with The Rock about, and it pains me to do that after what he said last night. Apparently, from all different sources, The Rock is putting the work in. He actually brings a ring on tour. Even when he went to London to film Fast and Furious 6, he actually brought a ring with him to London.
But there's only so much you can learn with working with Michael McGillicuddy. Like, you actually have to be in an actual match working with upper card guys.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's anything you do in life. Like, if you train to be a basketball player, you can be trained.
But until you're under the bright lights, it's meaningless.
And the pressure that it brings. Like, most people just think about wrestling, you're going to take the knocks. You have to have your mind ready too, because when you're in a 25-minute match, which he was with CM Punk, you have to remember when the spots are coming. You have to remember what's happening next. You have to remember, am I supposed to be control here? Is CM Punk supposed to be? What's coming next, you know?
Yeah, like, I remember what Brian was saying before, like, the different type of pressure he felt going from a high school to, like, an armory and everything.
Oh, you would. Like, and there is a bit of pressure with Dwayne when he gets into the ring with someone like CM Punk and even John Cena, as much as I hate to say. These guys are doing it constantly, and Dwayne doesn't want to be left behind. Dwayne doesn't want to show up and stink the gap out. Which, in fairness, as much as we want to bam out him, he hasn't performed badly in any of his matches.
Well, look at the people he's been put with, though. This Punk could carry almost anybody in that company.
Yeah, he would.
And Cena could do his job good.
That's one of my biggest arguments, and I said it on the Old School Raw preview. John Cena can wrestle. The thing that pisses me off is he chooses when to wrestle. John Cena,
like, I've seen some matches he does good when he's like been working with Angle or Michaels. He's been good, but like if he wants to actually have to make somebody else look good, like remember when he was feuding with Carlito?
Yeah. And Jesus.
Hey, no, you got to go with the King of the Hill voice and just call him Jesus.
Why did not call him Jesus? Why would they call him Jesus?
I don't know.
That really bugged me. That was like, his name is obviously not Jesus.
But like,
this promo was terrible. Just to go back to the promo, this thing, it's pretty much why us as wrestling fans, I said this on past shows and I'm going to say it again. The Rock Cena match is not for us. It's for media. It's for people that come back once in the year for wrestling. It's to get the traction. And I was willing to give this a bun. I really was. I was just willing to say, okay, this match is not for me. Enjoy it, who's ever going to enjoy it.
Do you think they're going to give the match a stipulation?
No.
Because they pretty much have to. Because if not, it's just going to be a carbon copy of the first match over in Florida.
Yeah. And you know what WrestleMania 30 is going to be? Another carbon copy. Because they have to have the rubber match, don't they?
Mm.
WrestleMania 30 is going to be Cena Rock again. But here's a... Definitely.
If they're going to do Cena Rock again, The Rock has to win here.
No, 1-1. Rubber match, bitch. Mm. The reason I said that's how Kurt Angle said it.
So, you think we start talking about TNA?
Just one last question we can get on to TNA. Rock Cena 2, was this built from last year in your opinion?
It's better than... This has a horrible build. The build last year was better.
No, what I'm saying is, do you think even from last year they knew this is happening again next year, or do you think it happened during the year? Do you think it was set in stone that no matter what, Rock and Cena are facing each other next year?
It was set in stone as soon as Rock came back, 1,000 episode of Raw. I think before then they were scrambling around. Oh, what might we do for Cena and everything in the main event? We had to get Rock back on the card. But as soon as he came back and said he wanted the belt, it was set in stone that it was Rock Cena at Mania.
And personally, I think for what they did the 1,000 episodes, I wouldn't mind if they gave Cena the belt and then let Punk win it back some way, so you could have Punk and Rock at WrestleMania and have that kind of long build up, and it actually would have meant a hell of a lot more than this rematch.
Can you ask me something?
Yeah.
Out of all the times Cena and Punk have faced for the belt, how is it, according to WWE, that when they face each other on that random episode of Raw, that was bigger than them main eventing pay-per-views?
Because it was the main event WrestleMania.
Yeah, but you're just gonna win a match to go up, because if I remember correctly, they both faced each other at Survivor Series, which is supposed to be one of your big 4 pay-per-views.
I can answer that with another question. Why is it every single third week we have the biggest Raw main event of all time?
Because WWE fans have short-term memory loss.
That's my answer. No matter what happens, the next match is always the most important. The Fatal 4-Way this week was the biggest main event in Raw history. Last week it was Cena and Punk, and this week it'll probably be something else.
Yeah.
Punk Taker, before we move on to TNA, are you happy to actually see this match happening? Because it's usually Punk can have a good match with anyone, and Taker, even though he does only come back once a year, usually has a good match at WrestleMania. The one I cannot see this being a spot match like the last 2 years was.
Can you excuse me for a minute?
Yeah, sure. As I was just saying there, I cannot see this being a spot match like Triple H and Undertaker for the last 2 years. They were just probably 2 spot matches. I see this being a wrestling match, and that is going to be interesting for The Undertaker to see. Can he still have a top-notch wrestling match with someone like CM Punk? Because, as Roy said, CM Punk can pretty much have a good match with anybody at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see can Undertaker live up to that level now.
I'm back.
And just quick before we move on to TNA, do you think this would be a good match, or do you think Taker's at a stage now that all he can do is have spot matches?
It will be a good match, but see, the problem is I just don't care about it. And even, it doesn't matter. The match could be a Matt Classic or a spot fest. If the fan doesn't have a certain interest level or something involved in the match, like a personal stake, they're not going to care about the match. It's going to be average at best to them. You need to get actually the fans to care for a match to go to just being an okay match to being a 5-star classic.
Do you think Punk can do that though? Well, how good Punk is on the mic the last couple of years, do you think Punk can make it special?
Yeah, but do you think they're going to allow him to tear down The Undertaker by shooting on him?
I think Taker will let it. I don't think WWE will let it.
They're not going to let him. It's like the thing is, Taker wanted to give up the streak a long time ago. He wanted to give up the streak to Orton. It's WWE that's not letting him.
Yeah. Because the one fear I always have, and the biggest match in my opinion that WWE have in their arsenal is Undertaker Cena at a WrestleMania. And the reason I say
they haven't done it yet.
I think they're holding it off until 30. I know I'm going on about Rock Cena 3, but I think that would give way to Cena and Taker, because let's face it, that would be some match, because every single fan that will watch that live or on pay-per-view will have a big interest in that match.
Yeah, but the more they hold off on it, because do you really think Cena's going to be able... Because first of all, if Cena's jobbing, he's not going to actually work as hard. Why do you think the match with Dwayne, it wasn't as good as it could have been? He's not going to really carry him. If Undertaker has to work more, being his age and everything, it's going to stink up the joint.
Oh, it won't be a great match. I'm not saying a big great match. I'm just saying it would be the feeling during the match that, like, when I was in Miami last year, I was there with a friend from Scotland, and around 10 minutes into the match, he was still kind of nervous. People around me were still kind of nervous, and I tapped him and I said, Rock is winning this match. And he said, how do you know that? I said, because Cena is missing a lot of spots.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that match, watch the first 10 minutes.
I never watched that match.
He misses a lot of spots. There's one in particular when he had the chance to go for 3 suplexes and he doesn't. There's another can go for a headlock in a perfect position, but he just knocks The Rock down.
Okay, so time to move on to TNA?
Right, to move on to total non-stop action. A company at the moment I know fuck all what's going on.
Well, see, this is like the only reason I'm employed by this podcast, so... Well, see, right now, you're trying to build up to Lockdown and everything, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. And, like, you're just coming off of a good week, and you have champions. Like, Kenny King actually beat RVD for the X Division Championship.
Kenny
then you
King
have,
is
like,
the television champion now?
Who?
Kenny King is the television champion?
X Division.
X Division. God, that guy actually... Like, I guess they had to kind of give him a push after the controversial way he left Ring of Honor. I guess they had to kind of reward that.
Yeah, well, he was in a good position with the company because he has Austin Aries backing him up backstage.
Brian knows my opinions on Austin Aries. Of what I've seen of Austin Aries, I think he's okay. I don't. For some reason, I just cannot rank him above CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. And that's not because he's in TNA, because I rank Samoa Joe as good as CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
See, in my book, he's better than, like, Nigel McGuinness and, like, better than Daniel Bryan, but not over CM Punk. He's lacking in the ring skills, but he's better on the mic than, say, a McGuinness, a Bryan, even a Joe at times.
Well, Joe's mic was never his strong suit. Like Punk in the early days of WWE, like everyone wants to go into Punk was his mic genius. When he first came into WWE, he really wasn't.
Well, see, when you're feuding with Mike Knox over Kelly Kelly, you can't save that.
Yeah, even when he was feuding with John Morrison, though, there was some...
Well, John Morrison sucks. We do not mention him on the show.
This is interesting. You think John Morrison sucks?
Yes, he's one of the things we do not mention, like Blake Griffin.
And Spirit Squad.
No, we mentioned the Spirit Squad.
But we don't.
Okay, apparently.
Because I really hate the Spirit Squad.
I like how Kenny was built up to be the star, but yet he's no longer with the company.
You know what he's actually doing now? He's actually doing shows at fairs. What a fall from grace, like he was banging Mickey James. He was about to get married to her.
Well, see, he ran into the push killer known as John Cena.
Or John Cena liked the ass of Mickey James and Kenny.
And then they took Ric Flair from feuding with him, and then he moved on to Michaels?
Yeah. Like, there was a famous rumor actually going around the place, like he was about to have a match with Ric Flair at WrestleMania 23. Because if you remember, Ric Flair went on to do nothing at WrestleMania 23. He was on the pre-show. There was a famous rumor going around that Kenny was actually going to get his match at WrestleMania against Ric Flair.
Well, see, I wasn't really a smart mark back then, so I really didn't get all these rumors.
That's actually a better way to be in wrestling these days.
I know, I can't. The thing is, once you become a smart mark, you can't go back to actually enjoying a product unless it's spectacular. You're always going to nitpick and be analytical.
Well, I can give you a perfect example of last night. When I went out last night for a few drinks, and I came back and I watched Raw, and The Undertaker came out, and I got excited. But then when I was talking to people I knew, they were like, oh, I broke earlier the day that he was going to open the show.
Yeah.
It takes the excitement away. It's like, if I could turn around to you right now and tell you every single result from Lockdown, wouldn't it kind of kill your interest?
Yeah, like I remember Bound for Glory, when it was, everybody thought it was going to be Bully Ray. But then it turned out to be Devon, somebody who was no longer with the company. Even Devon, he gave his phone to his kids who were tweeting from California, and he appeared over in Arizona.
That was class, and WWE kind of ripped that off a couple of months later with Chris Jericho, but these guys know the business.
Jericho actually leaked. Nobody saw Devon coming.
No, Jericho didn't leak for the Rumble, did he?
He did.
I didn't think he did because he stayed in CM Punk's bus the whole day.
Because I remember there was some like wrestling pages. It might have been just some fan rumor because that turned out to be right because it was just posted on Facebook.
I think that had to be it because, as I said, I could have just said Devon was going to show up at Bone for Glory. Even though it's like that kid that said that Chris Benoit killed his wife 48 hours before anyone even knew it.
Yeah.
Poor bastard. Um, what's happening with Aces and Eights? Because the last time I saw it was stale, but it's still going on.
Yeah. Well, see, now it's become clear. Aces and Eights was made to get Wes Briscoe over. Because Wes Briscoe now has a cage match with Kurt Angle at Lockdown. And if Wes wins that, he's pretty much set.
See, that is one good thing I have to say about Aces and Eights is that you can bring anyone in at any different time and kind of get them over. So, like, you can get him over this month against Kurt Angle, but in 2 months down the line, if you bring a new fella in, you can get him over again.
Yeah, like, it's what happened. Doc was over after it was Sting and everything.
Well, if you bring up the man himself, it's WrestleMania time, obviously, so that means Sting is not around, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sting tries to bring up the interest and he might show up in WWE, but he never will.
He won't.
He won't, but if I can remember a couple of years ago, there was big talks that he was going to face The Undertaker, and then when they announced he was coming back in an Impact, that Impact's rating shot up.
Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that when they were doing, like, the vignettes and everything? Wasn't it, like, 1/12/12?
Yeah, I remember with the creepy little cabin and everything.
Yeah, and then they played Johnny Cash.
Yeah, and then The Undertaker walked out and they couldn't get the rights to the music and everyone was in an uproar over it.
Yeah.
So for people that pretty much lost contact with TNA, like myself included, like I am actually trying to get back into it, but as Brian would adhere to, I have a lot of personal problems at the moment. Why should people start giving time back to TNA? Because I know TNA turned a lot of people off.
Well, see, the thing is, people might say the issue, like, oh, it's all about Hogan. It really isn't. Hogan's basically is just a catalyst to get people over. First, he's basically trying. First, just the main thing first was to get Bully Ridley for a title shot. The build of it is beyond questionable, but still, he's there. He has his spot, and which probably leads to like a swerve at the title match. And now they're just trying to get Matt Morgan finally over.
So Matt Morgan's not doing car insurance ads anymore.
Nope. So Morgan's gonna be probably the one to win the Bound for Glory series.
Are they going to do that again?
They always do. That's their Royal Rumble.
See, the only thing that always pisses me off with the Bound for Glory season, I said this last year and I'm going to say it again, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If the guy doesn't win it, everyone is like, what a waste of time. And if he does win it, everyone is like, oh, well, he won the Bound for Glory, of course he was going to win it.
Well, see, that's the same thing you could put with the Royal Rumble or the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, it's always one of the biggest. Like I always say, the greatest thing about the Money in the Bank is that you can cash in any time. It is fucking genius.
Yeah, it brings that aura unpredictability in.
And yet again, it just shows how much someone like Chris Jericho knows about the business. Chris Jericho made that match. And that's why I keep saying that people that were in the wrestling business should be running the wrestling business. Like, you just think about Adam Copeland at the moment is doing nothing. Shawn Michaels is doing nothing. Why can't these two guys be brought in as creative consultants? They never have
if
to leave.
Raven could get his shit together, he'll be great for the business.
Yeah. They never have to leave their home. They can... Look what me and Roy are doing now from other ends of the world on Skype. It's not like you have to go to every single Raw and every single SmackDown.
Wait, excuse me for a minute?
Yeah. But that's what should happen. Past wrestlers should be brought into rights.
What happened?
Come up with it.
Later! I'm not hungry! I'm not hungry! Later!
Past wrestlers should be coming in for to write storylines, to write matches, to write ideas. As I said, you look at someone like Chris Jericho that came up with the innovative idea of Money in the Bank. And to this day, I still believe someone in the back. And my money's on Triple H came up with the idea for Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, and when you think about it, like, soap opera writers and people outside the business are not going to understand the issue with heat and heels having to get over to ultimately put the baby faces. They're just going to think short term and that the baby faces have to win now.
Yeah, which I don't get, because even if you're writing a movie, a basic movie, there has to be a moment where the bad guy is winning. The good guy can't always win. But that's a big problem. And like, I'm not just confining this to WWE, not by a long shot. It happens in Ring of Honor too much, and it happens in TNA too much these days, that the faces are just winning too easy these days, Roy.
Yeah. You could see, like, Bully, when he was on his heel run and everything, he was actually jobbing a lot.
Yeah. Punk, even though Punk was holding the belt, Punk was still losing to a lot of people on Raws and SmackDowns.
Yeah.
You look at, what's his name, Austin Aries. Austin Aries was on a fantastic run. Suddenly he went heel for absolutely no reason, may I say, and he dropped the belt to Jeff Hardy.
Well, he was actually a heel for most of his X Division one when he had the X Division title for almost a year.
Yeah, but he went face. Everyone was getting behind him. Well, the Impact Zone was getting behind him, put it that way. And this was a guy you could build up with your own fans that they were getting interested in. No, fuck that. Jeff Hardy's already an established face. It's like...
Well, see, the thing is, you actually need somebody like Hardy, because if you remember, Hardy was just, when he was in the WWE run, he could still bring a lot of people in. Hardy's still the most over person in that company. Say what you want about him, personal life aside.
Oh, Jeff Hardy's crazy over. I don't know why, but he is.
Like, I remember seeing the build-up to Hardy and Aries. Aries was holding up the belt. He could barely get he was getting a decent reaction. Hardy just tells the crowd to cheer, and everybody just gets out their seats.
Yeah, but you can't live off that forever. Like, how long does like, look what Jeff Hardy did to his body. Not just with the drugs, but I mean with the spots, like
that's why they're using Jeff Hardy to get Bully over, who's just then going to get Matt Morgan over, because Morgan's the future of that company. Well, at least just a part of it.
I don't know if Morgan can do it, though. I remember when he first came into WWE, and everyone said, this is the guy, this is the guy. When he first went to TNA, everyone was like, this is the guy, this is the guy. I
don't know why people are so hesitant to actually give him the belt and everything. But see, like, with WWE, at least I understood that. Nathan Jones, to me, was more, like, of a guy than he was.
But I don't think Matt Morgan has what you would call the it factor.
He doesn't, but he has the size, and the size alone can compensate for that.
But I actually agree with you. I'm not a fan of Matt Morgan, but if you're going to constantly push him, it's like what I said about ADR a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you actually have to justify the push by giving him the belt.
Yeah, they kept running ADR down our throats, but yet they never gave him the belt. His last run against Sheamus, 4 pay-per-views in a row, and yet he never won the fucking belt.
But yeah, he could be Big Show, who Sheamus couldn't beat. Fuck logic.
Fuck logic. This is wrestling, bitches. So what do you think the future holds for TNA? What do you say we're looking forward to a lot, though?
What I'm most looking forward to isn't even the title match. It's that West Briscoe-Kurt Angle match. I want to see if they're actually going to go through with it and give West the win.
And for all of our IWPC 316 fans here on YouTube, I can confirm that we will now definitely have a weekly TNA Impact show. Even if myself and Brian won't be involved with it, there definitely always will be an Impact show.
God damn it, now I gotta do work.
Yep. Alright, Roy, thank you very much for joining us. I was going to say your second name, but I probably got it wrong again.
Okay.
Take care, everyone.